Joining me is Australia's top finance writer, Terry McCrann of the Herald Sun. Terry, great to see you. What did you make of Banks's warning today?
Well, like you, Andrew, I found it a very powerful speech, a very precise speech detailing, as you say, not just the number one insanity, the number one lunacy, which is this mad rush. Put aside the whole debate over global warming for a moment. Even if, whether you believe in global warming, whether you don't believe in global warming, whether you believe in some global warming, the bottom line in terms of the energy sector is very simple. If we are going to replace our existing fossil fuel-based energy sector, we really have to have something to put in its place before we close it down. It's the most basic common sense. You know, the reality is, if you think you can do it, fine, but let's do it before we actually close the present system down. And what we've got is a mad rush to this quote-unquote brave new world without actually knowing whether we can do it. You and I both know that we can't do it, that we've got to have coal-fired power stations. And if we're not going to have coal-fired power stations, we've got to have nuclear power stations. And I'm not sure whether that's a bigger no-no, but it's certainly an impossible no-no. But what I found most astonishing about Gary Banks's comments, and he really covered the spectrum of challenges that we are not simply not facing up to, but we're actually making far worse. What I found most astonishing about it, Andrew, he was just stating the most basic common sense, the sort of thing that even 10 years ago, and certainly 20, 25 years ago, would have been understood as the most basic common sense. You don't close down your existing system without a new one in place and one that can work. And the second thing I found about it that was most astonishing is that it really is quite a lonely voice. The main culprits that I blame for allowing this to develop is the business community. Where were the business leaders voicing exactly the sort of realities and sentiments and plain hard facts that Gary Banks was detailing? Where were they doing this? Where are they now, all the way up to the organisations like the Business Council, which have basically either stayed mute or just ticked off on all the lunacy?
Look, you know, there's a common thread with all these things, like the changes in education, for instance, global warming. Ideology has trumped facts, and people now, the more extreme they are, the more good they are, and the more they don't care about the damage they're actually doing. We are in a post-fact world. It is so dangerous. Now, the Albanese government, I want to touch on something quickly that you just hinted at. I think it's the first I've seen that has been so determined to deliberately destroy our industrial base by attacking our electricity supplies. For me, that makes this government more dangerous than even the Whitlam government. Any chance it'll back off?
Well, you're exactly right, Andrew. I mean, it's not as if we have a very sound, globally competitive industrial base to start with. We should be going out of our way to encourage investment in Australian industry. And as you say, the most basic input is energy, whether it's electricity, whether it's gas, whether it's petrochemicals. And yet we're not simply allowing it to be destroyed. We are actively rushing to that end. And the one thing that is really holding us above water at the moment is our exports, particularly to China, of iron ore, coal and gas, all of which that mad Green senator with the smile on her face wants to destroy, wants to close down.
I know.
I mean,
I don't get it, Terry. It just beggars belief. But the fact that what's even worse is so many journalists treat them seriously. This is the other thing. Terry McCrann, thank you so much indeed for your time.